Hi there, Brendan Whipps from Harcourts, Queensland. We've just finished our shared knowledge panel, Gold and Beyond, with the great James Gwynn from Harcourts Solutions, also Kathleen Luck from Solutions, Catherine White from our Pinnacle business, and Julie Reid from Hope Island. It was a sensational session showing how our $200,000 performers can lift their performance and the steps they need to take to get to $400,000 and beyond. Here's a few tips that they gave the group today. If you were to write to yourself as a new sales agent, what advice would you give to yourself?
I know for sure that I would take a mentor straight away, really in terms of having some coaching in this industry and just having some level-headedness and making sure that, you know, the stresses and some of those changes that, you know, like you're never quite sure about, you've got someone to talk to, someone's got experience and someone that can really help you out. The other thing is I think that I would really focus on a particular area, making sure that you became the expert in the area, making sure you did the research so that when you did go out, you were knowledgeable about the things that you were speaking about, because people are paying you a lot of money to sell their homes for them. So, you know, they do need to list with someone who has the knowledge and has the background and has the market research. It gives you a lot of confidence when you actually go into a listing presentation, you know, when you've got that information at your side.
Name the top 3 activities you perform that give you the most business.
Definitely my referral system, our open home leads and genuine communication with my database. Once you've done your open homes and you're following up people, you really do have the leads right there and then. You know, they are warm leads, they're people that shouldn't be discarded, you know, certainly database them, but make sure that you have good open communication with them, genuine communication. I've had an experience with another agent that called me, really just banging through a whole list of questions. It was just really rote. He obviously had to get through 20 calls in his half an hour. I didn't really mean very much to him, so I gave him some silly answers and I actually didn't even receive any feedback from that. There was no response to that and I just thought that was really artificial.
It's great, so being authentic.
Being authentic, being genuine and really being interested in the people that you're going to be working with.
If you were to write to yourself as a new sales agent, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh golly, it was so many years ago that I was a new sales agent. Look, I think the biggest thing that I really could have known then that I know now is to surround myself with people who are really positive. And even if I can't find a lot of those people, just find one person. That one person who, when you're having a really tough day or for whatever reason you're just not feeling yourself, you can get to that person and say, look, this is what's happened. Can you help me through it? And they can be that silver lining for you.
Clearly you've got that person. How long have you known them and how long have they been that person?
If I can be completely honest, over the 10 years, that person has changed. So at the start it was Carmen Briggs, and as you know, Carmen, she is beautiful, out of this world, she's amazing. But over the years then, that has changed depending on my focus or my direction as well. Now it's really my husband, just is such a rock for me when I get home, and some days I fall in that front door and I'm just shattered, and Stephen just brings me back up again.
And if I had to name the 3 activities, the top 3 activities you perform that give you the most business,
yeah,
what would they be?
Look, I'd say the first one is the community involvement that I do, but first and foremost I do it because I love it. You know, my grandmother, when I grew up in central Queensland, she would involve me in all these things like Meals on Wheels and doing things for other communities or people who really need that help. I really enjoyed that as a kid, and I'm blessed to be in a job that I can do that now. My number 2 would be follow up, always. And even if you can find a more passive way of following up with people. I think as real estate agents, I know some that I've dealt with can be really in your face, and that puts me off, and I'm not like that personally, so I find quite passive ways to help people as well, even if it is outside of the real estate realm that we live and work in. My 3rd tip would be really work on your client testimonials and referrals. Those testimonials, those written testimonials, don't just leave them on a platform like Rate My Agent. Put them in your books, put them in your profile. documents, put them on Facebook. Ask those clients that you've worked very hard for and by the end of the transaction should love you. Ask them to put that on Facebook on your business page and follow that up with a picture as well, because that personalised connection I find has worked for me. And that's what, again, when I'm having a really down day, I look back through those reviews and it just reminds me why I do what I do.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
If you were to write to yourself as a new sales agent, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would say get a good system early, and what that is I guess track everybody that you've ever done an appraisal for, put them into a database and communicate with them really well. So it's really important for your long-term success is being able to communicate with your database. So secondly, work hard. In the beginning I used to work 50, 60 hours a week. You really have to treat it as a full-time job. You are technically like self-employed, like think of it as a business, and just make those hours really count and do good dollar productive activities. Lastly, I would advise to get a mentor. Set some goals and have someone hold you accountable towards those goals.
Name the top 3 activities you perform that give you the most business.
Okay, so getting in touch with people, keeping a good database, and building up good business networks. I guess just finding a group that you can resonate with, or setting up a business group, meeting local business owners in the area. It's also important to start with the networks of people that you know as well, especially if you're just starting out. So start with everyone you know, let them know you're in real estate, and give them information that's relevant to them and put them on your database.
If you were to write to yourself as a new sales agent, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would tell myself to database everybody I've met and everybody that I know, and find out where they live so that I can provide them with relevant information around property around their house. And yeah, just being relevant, I think, to people.
Yep, how do you be relevant?
Keep it real estate related. So if they've got a house in an area and a similar house has recently sold, let them know what the result was.
Pretty simple, yeah?
Pretty simple, yep.
Name the top 3 activities you perform that give you the most business.
Number 1 is listing, obviously, but being world class at it and getting really good at asking the right questions to, win the business. Obviously what comes off that is the prospecting. You can't get in the door if we don't book the appointments. So prospecting and health and fitness is really big. I do that first thing in the morning, go to the gym, eating right so that I'm not burning myself out and feeling good.
So you're very structured. Obviously going to the gym and being healthy is important to you. Do you structure your day in halves? So anything you're actually disciplined around doing in the morning and then the afternoon?
Definitely. So gym in the morning, first cab off the rank. As soon as I get to work, prospecting starts between 8 to 12, and then the afternoons booked out with appointments between 1 to 7 at night.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Quinny. And there was a piece of gold that you gave in the session today.
Everything that I do, I didn't think of.
I love it. Thanks, Quinny. You're a sensational agent, mate.
No worries, mate. Cheers.